Good morning, YouTube. Home Theater Joe here. And very quickly, I wanted to talk about efficiency and how my equipment is running at the present. I have had some good time now with the AC Infinity T10 Aircom cooler. Obviously, I've had months now with the Yamaha TSR 700, and I've had some good time over 30 days, probably easily, maybe about 2 months with the Emotiva Basics A4. So I did wanted to go into how that stuff's going and why I believe this equipment is running so efficiently. I think the first thing to note is years ago in this home, I tore down a wall leading from my living room to kitchen to open all that stuff up. Kind of a small place. When I did that, I made sure to run a 20 amp breaker and receptacle right here to my hall closet. Try to show this to you if you can see that. So right back there is an electrical outlet or receptacle, and that is on a dedicated 20 amp breaker. So everything in this closet is on its own separate circuit, if you will, including the display. Now, I did, this is years ago, and I didn't build this home theater till 2021. So there's about 5 years in between where this outlet just sat in this hallway closet where, of course, we kept our coats and some other things. But since I decided to make the system, I put all that stuff in here. Now, why am I saying all this? Because for me, this is efficient. None of this equipment is out in my living room, which again, it's a small place. So I think that this was key. And even 4 or 5 years before building this system, I had the forethought to put the dedicated receptacle here in the closet. So kind of like did that for future, but it really worked out. So why am I saying all this stuff? 2 reasons. One, I think it's efficient not to have all this stuff in my living room taking up room and clutter. And 2, everything being on its own circuit, everything being fed by that 120 amp breaker is much more efficient than any of this stuff, especially your amplifiers or receivers being on a shared circuit. They need to pull their own power, and it needs to be steady power, So those are 2 things to say very quickly. Now let's get into the equipment here. Right now, I don't know if you can see this very clearly, but it says 78, okay, is our temperature right now, and 88 is our target temperature to keep the receiver running cool. Now, the reason it's so low right now is because it's cooler in the house. It's early morning, right before I go to work. So the AC's been on all night, and it's nice temperature in here. When this system gets up and cranking, before the addition of the AC Infinity, as well as the Emotiva A4, this receiver got very, very warm, very hot to the touch. If I had to guess, I'd say over 100 degrees, maybe around 100 degrees. But let's talk about what's happened here. Why this is so totally efficient, I believe. I can only pre-out 2 speakers, the front, left, and right. As you can see, I have the A4 in front of us. This is a future plan. For the future, this A4 will run 4 100-watt speakers, height channels in my ceiling. As of now, I only have 2. But again, this piece of equipment is for the future. but it has greatly benefited what I have going on right now. So one other side note about the A4, I have the front right and left speaker running to the furthest terminals apart. All right. So even though there's only two speakers connected, I'm running the far left, far right terminal. These blue lights are just indicators letting you know that every terminal you have is fine and working. So I've chosen the two outers that way, maybe to, I don't know, spread the heat apart, keep the heat a little bit further. But with the addition of this A4, my Yamaha instantly ran cooler, and of course was able to feed all the other speakers more wattage. Just a great experience. But the important part about this is the efficiency. That allowed the receiver to run cooler. Not, I'm going to say as cool as now, but definitely a lot cooler. So then we added on the AC Infinity. Now this thing just, I mean, as you can see, the setting right now in the AC Infinity is 88. So this fan won't cut on and start pulling air from the receiver and kicking it out till it hits 88 degrees, which honestly, if I was playing a movie, it would. But even in the hottest dog days of summer that we've had so far, like last week easily in the 90s, with the AC off, this receiver ran at, I think, 92 degrees, 93 degrees, something like that. A far cry from what it was doing before the A4 and the AC Infinity. So why am I wasting all this time? Just talking to my cell phone. I think the efficiency is very important. The dedicated receptacle that feeds power to all this equipment is important. I cannot stress to you how much the TSR 700 ran warm, as all receivers do, when they're doing everything. When they're doing the video processing, when they're processing the audio signals, and when they're amplifying the signals. So the AVR has just got so many jobs to do. I don't think it can do it. Any AVR. I don't care what kind of AVR you have. As anybody that may follow me knows, I'm a budget guy. So all this equipment you see here, this is not expensive. Brand new, less than 400. Brand new, I think 500. Brand new, $100. Also, I do have the dedicated LG UB90. It's a UB90 dedicated 4K player. Now that thing was kind of pricey at the time, but I thought a great investment. I think it was around $300 when I bought it, but it was on sale for like $200, and I got a nice Logitech remote that I don't use. Anyway, so let me get back to the efficiency here. My receiver, my TSR 700, doesn't have a whole lot to do. All of my video signal is going directly to the TV. No video processing whatsoever for the AVR. It obviously is, I pre-outed the front, left, and right, which the front stage, your front, left, right, center, they're going to draw the most power. Okay, so we've taken two of those speakers that draw the most power off of the load of the receiver. And then we went ahead and added this nice little AC Infinity T10 cooling fan, component cooler. So all of this mixed together means my equipment stays incredibly cool. At any point, I can come over here, touch the top of anything, any piece of equipment, no problem. It's not even, I mean, it might be warm to the touch, but honestly, the stuff runs pretty cool. So I've dramatically reduced the heat problem within this setup. And while I'm mentioning that, the Xbox One X right there, sorry about the wires and mess, but that Xbox One X stays unplugged. And let me tell you why. When it's plugged in, even though it's off, you can set your hand to the top of it and it's still warm. It's warm all the time. I have mine set to do automatic updates or not automatic updates, but to keep my games up to date. So to do a system update, I have to do that manually, but the games are all set up to just update while the console is on or off. But this means the console does draw power, and when it's updating, it definitely gets warm. So, little quick tip for that is I just unplug the Xbox altogether, and that way there is no heat coming from the Xbox. But to wrap this stuff up, what I want to say is that I think running the AVR before the addition of these two pieces of equipment definitely put stress on the AVR. Definitely made it warm, hot to the touch. And adding the two pieces of equipment and, again, running all of my video signal or processing directly to the TV, bypassing the amplifier, man, it's just made everything run so efficiently. I can't say it enough. For this budget system, I mean, it hums. All of it. Every speaker sounds great. And more importantly, the system runs efficiently. Believe you me, when this closet was 100 degrees, and it's just hot, doesn't matter whether you open a door or leave it closed, it's just heat radiating. Okay, and then we're right underneath the air return here at the house. So all that heat would just come out of that closet, go right up there in that air return, and, just didn't help things, So one more time, I know I'm kicking a dead horse here. I'm being very redundant. Efficiency is the name of the game. We want to keep our equipment running well, and we want to keep it for a long time. I don't want to buy a new AVR every 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, honestly, my father had a Pioneer AVR for almost 30 years. Same one. So, this equipment, especially amplifiers, they can last a long time. They don't really have too much to do. So anyway, look, I'm just rambling. And I just wanted to get this out before I go to work, man. I think efficiency is key. So if you can take some of these tips and apply them to your home theater or your setup, no matter what you're working with, that's the greater point here, isn't it? I'm a budget guy. I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars in equipment here to protect, but I still want to protect it. It's mine. I paid for it. I want it to last. I want it to perform well. And as of now, everything is going swimmingly with the additions of these two pieces of equipment, which I do have separate reviews on. All right. Well, I think that about does it. Yeah, probably. All right. As always, thank you for listening. Be good. Be safe. Boom!